Hey everyone, let's talk about one of the biggest, most frustrating problems in audio production, trying to create a real sense of distance. Today we're going to break down a brand new tool that promises to solve this ancient problem in a completely new way. So, let's be honest. How many hours have you wasted trying to push a sound back in your mix? You know the feeling. You want it to sound far away, but every time you add reverb, it just turns into a swampy mess. So you turn it down and poof, it just disappears completely. Yeah, it's a total mixing headache. The old way is this super complicated dance, right? You're juggling reverb plugins, you're trying to carve out space with an EQ, and you're constantly riding that volume fader. It's not just clunky. You often end up just destroying the character and the focus of the very sound you're trying to work with. Well, what if there was a single tool? Just one, designed from the ground up to handle all of that for you? This is where we introduce the really elegant solution we're looking at today. It's called Distance Designer. And here it is. I mean, look at that. The whole idea is right there on the interface. Control distance without adding reverb. This is not about just washing a sound out in some fake space. No. This is about psychoacoustically convincing your brain that a sound is moving closer or further away, all while keeping its clarity and its focus. And this really shows the huge shift in workflow. You go from wrestling with 3 or 4 different things, your reverb, your EQ, your volume automation, to just one intuitive fader that handles all that complex stuff for you. And the best part? A locked output level. And that brings us to the secret sauce, the output level lock. This little button is pure magic. When you turn it on, you can slide that main fader all the way from near to far, and the plugin automatically compensates for the volume change. So the sound feels like it's 100 feet away, but it's still perfectly present and audible in your mix. Seriously, no more volume automation headaches. Okay, so how does it actually do all this? Let's pop the hood and take a look. The plugin is really built around 3 main control sections that all work together to create this super convincing illusion of depth. All right, first up, we've got the core distance panel. You can think of this as like the engine room. This is where you get to tweak the basic feel and the response of that main distance fader so it fits your sound perfectly. So you've got 2 main knobs here. Smooth time is basically how long it takes for the sound to travel. You can make it a slow, gradual fade into the distance, or you can create this really rapid whoosh effect. And then curve lets you shape the taper of the fader, so you can get really precise control over how it feels at the beginning or the end of its travel. Okay, next up is air and presence shaping, and this is where the real-world physics comes into play. This whole section is about simulating how the atmosphere, the air itself, actually changes a sound as it travels from point A to point B. And this is all about making it sound real. Air absorption perfectly mimics how high frequencies just kind of get lost over distance, which makes things sound warmer and further away. Presence cut is great for taming any harshness that feels too in your face. And proximity loss simulates how that low-end punch and energy drops off, which is a huge cue our ears use to judge distance. The last piece of this puzzle is the space and output control section. This is where you get to play with the stereo field and add some final dynamic polish to everything. And there are some seriously powerful tools here, let me tell you. Far width lets you widen the stereo image, but only as the sound gets further away, which is just an awesome creative touch. But my favorite might actually be DE-REVERB. This thing is incredible. You can literally use the plugin in reverse to take a sound that already has reverb on it and pull it closer, making it feel super focused and intimate. So yeah, it's a distance designer in both directions. So what you have is this incredibly powerful and honestly super intuitive plugin for anyone who really wants to take precise surgical control over the depth and placement of sounds in their mix. So the bottom line is this. You get instant, believable control over distance without all the usual mess, without the mud, without the volume loss. If this looks like the tool you've been searching for, you can find Distance Designer on Gumroad at this link right here. And that really brings us to the end of our little tour. It just leaves one last question for you to think about in your own projects. What new creative doors will open up for you when you have this kind of effortless, total control over distance?